Hello, everyone. This is David, Fairly Secret Music. It has been so long since I've done one of these videos. I was going to do the 2019 vinyl tag, but I'm not a vinyl guy. I could have done it with CDs and stuff, but I just don't care about answering questions, really. I decided I'm going to just get you up to date on a lot of the stuff that I've been buying. Since the last time you saw me, I have all the Borknagar, I have all the Cradle of Filth, I have all the Moonspell, I think I have all the Dimmu Borgir stuff, because I went through a big black metal phase, like the symphonic black metal, or whatever those guys are called these days. And I've since branched out into some crazy stuff that isn't metal, but we will start the 2020 year with me showing you the holy grail of CDs that I was looking for a long time, and that is Keel, The Final Frontier. I don't remember ever hearing this on CD, and it's amazing how good this album sounds. Normally, I don't think Rock Candy do the greatest job in remastering, but this thing sounds awesome. And if I found the self-titled one, I'd probably buy that also, even though I have the original MCA or whatever the hell they were on. But yeah, this was finally this is finally in my collection. It's awesome. And the funny thing is, when I got this, I was at the height of my like black metal-y kind of stuff. I really wish this cord wasn't reflecting, but it's for this light, so actually, forget it. I also finally was able to get the final Universe Zero album. This was a Japanese import at one point that went for like $35, and I wasn't going to pay $35. But Sub Rosa Records reissued it, and it was like $17.99 new, and I was like, yes, I will pay that for a new Universe Zero. It's pretty good. There is a guitar player in this lineup, which is rare for Universe Zero. They haven't had a guitar player since like the first couple. Well, there was on and off. There had been guitar players, but usually they didn't have a guitar player. After I got the two Bill Bruford CDs, I went looking for more fusion stuff, which will be coming up a little bit later in this video. I found National Health. This had Dave Stewart, who was on those Bill Bruford albums, and Neil Murray, who was in Whitesnake, and I believe he was with Ozzy at one point. Played with Gary Moore, just tons of people. He plays bass on this album. It's pretty cool. I haven't given it a really in-depth listen, but from what I've listened to, I do really like. I thought I was going to go maybe into getting a bunch of Yes albums, the Steve Wilson 5.1 remixes, but I have Close to the Edge in 5.1, and I rarely listen to that, so I started to listen to like Relayer and the Yes album and Fragile, and I thought, you know what, I think that's good enough for me. If I found Fragile or the Yes album with the 5.1, I might impulse buy, get it, but I'm not going out of my way to order it or anything like that. The other day I was at this place called the Electric Fetus, and I picked up Desolate Angels, yes. Bad Company's Desolate Angels. This is a 2-disc version, and it has quite a bit of stuff on there. I've been getting every one of these 2-disc Bad Company albums, and I'm enjoying them thoroughly. I like Boz Burrell's bass playing. He was the bass player on the 4th King Crimson album, and he always played fretless bass, but you couldn't tell. He didn't play it like a normal fretless bass player. He didn't do a lot of slides and stuff like that. So yeah, this is pretty cool. And that same day, I saw Chicago 2, also known as the first album actually called Chicago. This is the Steve Wilson remix, and this one sounds great, but I was going to get the remix 2019 remix of the Chicago Transit Authority album, but I have never read so many awful reviews on Amazon. Go to Amazon, read the reviews on the 2019 remix of the Chicago Transit Authority album. There's not one good, well, there's like 4 good ones out of 108 or something like that. Also, with this Chicago, you get this little book. I mean, that's the size difference. But it folds out into a large poster, and I get it that they're trying to recapture the stuff that originally came in. This is a big liner, like essay done by Steve Wilson. But they could have added 1 or 2 more pages and given me lyrics. Just saying. This doesn't have lyrics either, but this is the Rhino remaster from 2002. And the reason I got this version is because everybody who said how crappy the 2019 remix was said this was the best version to get. I think I'm going to go to Chicago 3 and then probably stop. I'm not sure. I have a Chicago box set, one of those bigger ones that had 4 discs in it. Marillion put out With Friends from the Orchestra, which is a bunch of songs that they redid with an orchestra, kind of like a best of almost. Unfortunately, the track selection is kind of okay. It's not the greatest, but it does have Ocean Cloud and Season's End and Beyond You. You know, the rest are kind of like, there could have been so many better songs to choose from. But I really like that cover. It's kind of cool. And then there's a picture of the band and stuff. This CD I wanted at the height of my black metal obsession. I listened to this. I really like the drums on this. It sounds like an Immortal album, basically, except for with real drums. And so they don't sound processed or triggered or whatever. But his new album just kind of made me go, eh. But this one, because of the drums, made me excited. And it's, who else is in here? I think it's King of Hell is on bass. And then Creature on drums. Yeah, it's King on bass, Creature on drums, and of course, Abath on guitar and vocals, because it is Abath's first solo album. Well, technically his second solo album, because he had a band called A or something like that. I found this used, and this thing I didn't think I would ever find just used for, what was it, $6.95? Yeah. This is what are they called? Witherfall. And this has the singer who is now the new lead singer for Sanctuary. He sounds a lot like Warrell Dane when he sings Sanctuary songs. He doesn't sound quite as much like Warrell Dane when he's singing with this band, but still good. This I've put off getting, Bad English. I got it for 99 cents. And I thought it was kind of a good omen because I had the song Change by John Waite going through my head, especially the line, people talking and they saying that you're leaving, because I am switching jobs, and I'm very happy to be making a career change, and I look forward to my new job that I start on February 10th. So that'll be awesome. Yes. I actually saw them on this tour at First Avenue. A lot of people will know First Avenue from Prince Purple Rain. I just remember it as the first place I saw. No, not the first place. One of the second places I saw a rock concert, and I went to see Armored Saint and MSG. I technically went to see MSG because I didn't like Armored Saint. I only like one of their albums too, so. All right, so those are all the kind of weird odds and ends. Last year, at around the end of the year, King Crimson put out this, which I don't really like this cover. I don't like the art. It is the King Crimson audio diary from 2014 to 2018, and I hope that noise doesn't drown me out. I'm hoping my new setup will kind of keep the noise out. The cool thing is this has 5 discs in it, and they show you like a tour thing, and anything in white means that is the city and the track that they used for this collection. The cool thing is right here, Minneapolis, on June 26th, 2017, I was at that show. My friend Dave was also at that show, and then went to the Chicago show 2 days later. This comes, each disc has one of these, which is awesome, because then you're not sliding your disc in and out. Except for this disc, I misplaced the little black thing, so it is sliding back and forth right now. Oh, here it is, because I put it in the wrong sleeve. But this has fantastic sound, and this is the everything from the 7-man band to the 8-man band, and with 3 drummers, a keyboardist, sax, bass, guitar, guitarist / vocalist, and it comes with this cool cool booklet that has lots of photos. I will just quick. This is what, as a 8-man lineup, this is what King Crimson looks like if you go see them live. Tell me that's not awesome. I have 2 or 3 DVDs with this or one of the many incarnations of this lineup. At one point, this guy playing keyboards was playing the middle drums, but then he had some health problems, so then they got Jeremy to come in, and then Bill ended up just playing keyboards all the time, and then Jeremy also played some keyboards also. But yeah, it was intense. Sometimes I wished one of the drummers would shut up, but overall, I think it is fantastic. I hope one day they put out a studio album. Maybe kind of give it a rest on the touring for just a little bit, and then do a studio album. But yes, that is that. I have had this version for a long time. I believe this is the 30th anniversary edition. And then in 2009, Steven Wilson came out with the 2-disc version. It's a CD and a DVD. And just this last year, he went back to the tapes because this was the very first King Crimson album that he remixed. So 10 years later, he went back to In the Court because probably partially because they are putting out a big box set of this era. But this has Blu-ray. This one has DVD, which I don't really hear a huge difference because I don't have a ginormously awesome, expensive system. But this comes with, here, we'll put this up. This comes with the 2019 stereo mixes and instrumental mixes. CD 2 is alternate album and expanded edition. CD 3 is the original master edition expanded, and then CD 4 is a Blu-ray disc that has 2019 mixes and surround sound plus all the music from the CDs and more in one high resolution 24/96 stereo. That's cool. And it comes with, again, the same kind of little sleeves that they have the CDs in. And just so people know what I'm talking about still, this also has a very extensive booklet with liner notes and stuff. I've yet to read this. I just purchased this today. Well, actually, my wife purchased it for me because she's awesome. And even though she hates this cover, I don't know why I'm showing you this version. You have this one right here. She hates this cover, and I have a t-shirt that has that on it. And how many versions of this face can I hold up at once? Alrighty. So I mentioned something about Fusion. Before I do that, I would like to say that I loved Rush, and it was very sad finding out that Neil Peart passed away. I saw them twice, once on the Presto tour and once on the Vapor Trails tour. So I feel very fortunate to be able to see them a couple times in their career. The Presto tour was right after I got into them, so it was at 89 or something like that. Vapor Trails was, I think, in 2000 or 2001. I have tons of DVDs of them live also, and I have all the CDs, and I have listened to some Rush since he passed away. I guess I feel more emotional right now talking about it than when I listen to it. I'm in total awe of how great those guys worked together, and you're not gonna find a trio that awesome ever again, really, in my opinion. So that is my Rush Neil Peart talk. So because of those Bill Bruford CDs, I decided to get a little bit. Oh, check this out. This is the record store from Minneapolis, the Electric Fetus. They had a 15% off sale, and there is a Alan Holdsworth box set that is now out of print. So I decided to do some investigating and turns out the company that did the box set released all the albums individually, and they are exactly the same as that came in the box set, but except for I don't have a box, and somebody sent me scans of the booklet. So who am I talking about? Well, first of all, I'll show you this. This is the only Soft Machine lineup that I get stuff by, because Alan Holdsworth plays guitar on it. This album is Bundles. This is where they changed their sound a bit, and then around the same time they did a Switzerland concert. This is on Cuneiform Records. It has Alan Holdsworth on guitar, Carl Jenkins on Fender Rhodes, Mike Ratledge on Fender Rhodes piano, Roy Babington on electric six string, and John Marshall on drums. This actually comes with a DVD also, which I have yet to watch. But this is the studio album that he played on. There was like another lineup of Soft Machine that he played with, but I didn't get that because that has a sax player that I really don't like. I just found this copy of Blues for Tony, which is Holdsworth, Pasqua, Haslip, and Chad Wackerman. It's doing a bunch of Tony Williams Lifetime stuff, and it sounds fantastic. Very jazzy though, so if you're not into jazz, then probably wouldn't dig it. Let's see. Well, we'll talk about this because this is Alan Holdsworth's first album, but he always said I don't consider that my first album, because it was rehearsals or demos or whatever that he had done, and they released it without his okay. But the thing is, oops, let's see, does it say on there? No. The lineup on this is awesome. I'll just hold that up. It's Alan Holdsworth on guitar, Alan Pasqua on piano, Alphonse Johnson on bass. Alphonse Johnson played with Weather Report, and who else did he play with? I cannot remember. And best of all, Narada Michael Walden, who played on some Mahavishnu Orchestra stuff and was on Robert Fripp from King Crimson's solo album Exposure. He played on one song called Breathless. That song is awesome. So outside of the box set, I got two disc sets that have one CD and a DVD. The other one's upstairs. I totally forgot about it. That is Live in Tokyo. And that thing is awesome. It looks great too. I've yet to watch the DVD of this. This is Warsaw Summer Jazz Days '98. This is so jazzy. Like where you're like, oh my God, where is the rhythm on here? Where is one? Where is the melody sometimes? The players are just crazy. You just have to listen to it. Check out the song, what was it? 16 Men of Tain or Looking Glass, Above and Below. This is more jazzy and less fusion than I normally enjoy, but it's actually pretty decent. I just have to kind of get in there and listen. Now, the next bunch of CDs all technically came in a box set. Like I said, it's out of print, but the single disc versions look exactly like what came in the box set. So what is the band? Manifesto is the label. I don't like that, how they kind of slide out. Unlike the King Crimson ones, they don't have the protective like inner thing. I'm gonna get some white inner things, like CD things, but they don't fit in these, so you have to kind of cut the top off, and then it at least protects it, so you can pull that out and then not scratch your CDs so much. But we will start with Road Games. This is so far one of my favorite Alan Holdsworth albums, because not only does it have Chad Wackerman on drums, but it has Jeff Berlin on bass, and he is amazing. And it has a song called Tokyo Dreams, or Tokyo Dream, actually. And that song is just awesome. Some crazy good bass playing and just awesome guitar. So I'll just kind of let you see what came with that. The crazy thing with these is when you put them all together, they look cool on the shelf, but if you pick them up, they end up going like that because the spines are a little bit thicker. Secrets, which, let's see. Actually, you know what? Before I do that, I'm going to show you these in chronological order, because that's a cooler and easier way to do it. And I've been listening to them in chronological order. So, just bear with. Let me look at Little Holdsworth. So, we will go past Road Games again. This is going to be a little bit goofy. So, the first album that he actually considers his first solo album is i.o.u. And i.o.u. has a guy named Paul Williams on vocals. And at first, I didn't enjoy his vocals. I just wanted instrumental Alan Holdsworth. But the more I listen to them, the better he gets. And then the second album that he did was Road Games, and Paul Williams is on here, but his label for some reason made him take Paul Williams off of 2 of the album's tracks, and then he got Jack Bruce to sing on them, which I thought, oh, cool, that's awesome. But now listening to those Jack Bruce songs, I really just wish Paul Williams was singing on them. His third album, Alan Holdsworth with i.o.u., so the band has now become i.o.u. Mental Fatigue. This also has Paul Williams on vocals, Alan Pasqua on keyboards, and Gary Husband. And there's Jimmy Johnson, who, if you've watched, there's like a recent video of Terry Bozzio playing live, and the bass player is Jimmy Johnson. Let's see, next one. Oh, this is where he lost some fans, because he started using the synth guitar. And honestly, I think it sounds really interesting, because it, he still plays it like a guitar, kind of. It sounds like a guitar, but going through a synthesizer. And it's just a kind of an acquired taste, so that's pretty cool. What's next? I didn't put these in chronological order. This is Sand, and this, let's see. Pasqua and Chad Chad Wackerman are two of the people that end up being with a lot of the and on a lot of the albums. And honestly, if you're gonna listen to sorry, I'm gonna put these in order. If you were gonna listen to Alan Holdsworth and try to get into Alan Holdsworth, I would say check out his stuff with Bill Bruford or Gong or Tony Williams or maybe even oh god, Bruford, Gong, Tony Williams, Jean-Luc Ponty. He was on I can't remember what album, but he's on a song called Nostalgic Lady that is fantastic. So, there, now I've put them all in order. At this point, I haven't gotten to this yet. I've gotten through the first one, two, three, four, five albums, but I just got these, I think it was last Wednesday. But then I started listening to a lot of Chicago, and I got one of the other things that I got here. What was it? Chicago and Bad Company. That's a funny thing. I'll get like a person's whole collection, and then I'll listen to like half of it, and then gets distracted by somebody else. I'm trying not to do that these days, but it still happens. So this is the next album, Sand. Secrets, I have listened to this a ton. I've listened to this about 6 or 8 times because I had this for like 2 weeks before I got anything else. And it's really good. It has Jimmy Johnson and Vinny Colaiuta, who played with Sting. He played with Frank Zappa, a lot of other people. He actually was on that Megadeth album, the one that Chris Poland did some guitar solos on. I believe he was the only drummer on that whole album. What's next? Wardenclyffe Tower. This has some bonus tracks. Tokyo Dream, The Unmerry-Go-Round, Part 4 and 5. Still, a lot of the same players on that. Hard Hat Area. Let's see. This one has a few new players coming into the picture. I know they tried to incorporate some upright bass on this album, and that kind of led to the None Too Soon album, which is technically a covers album, and he did a bunch of jazz stuff. Let me see if it says countdown. So you have John Coltrane, Django Reinhardt, Irving Berlin, or Django Reinhardt, sorry, Joe Henderson, Gordon Beck, Lennon and McCartney. He does a version of Norwegian Wood. Bill Evans, Gordon Beck, and Joe Henderson. So it's pretty cool. I've listened to bits and pieces of that, but not the full thing. 16 Men of Tain. I love that album title, and this, again, has some new players on it. This one is called Flat Tire, Music for a Non-Existent Movie. I almost didn't get this, but I thought, you know what? I just want to be a completist. I can get it for way cheaper right now with all the rest of these with a 15% off coupon than if I order it separate. So I decided to get that, even though it's less of interest because it's, of course, more like score music a little bit. So, and last but not least, the final disc in the Alan Holdsworth box set, Then, which is a live recording from them in Tokyo. And I know you can see him there, but there he is, the man, Alan Holdsworth. So, you know, if you are looking to get into Alan Holdsworth, I would say check out his work with Gong. There was a album called Gazoo, I think it's pronounced. Gauze, I think. I'm not even sure. The first two songs on that album are fantastic. Beelzebub from Bill Bruford's first solo album, Feels Good to Me. Hell's Bells from the One of a Kind album. Nostalgic Lady from Jean-Luc Ponty's... God, what is that damn album? Sorry. I gotta find out what that album is called. What is it called? Enigmatic Ocean. It looks like this. It looks like that. Steve Smith from Journey plays drums on this album, and it is fantastic. And also there is a bass player named Ralph Armstrong, and he plays fretless bass on that song, and it is fantastic. Holdsworth also played in a band called UK with Bill Bruford and John Wenton, who played bass and did vocals, and Bruford and Wenton were the rhythm section for King Crimson for the Lark's Tongue, Starless and Bible Black, and Red era King Crimson albums. Then they did UK, but Alan Holdsworth and Bruford only stayed around for one album, and the second album they had no replacement guitarist, but they had Terry Bozzio on drums. And Eddie Jobson played keyboards and violin on there. So that is what I have been listening to lately, and kind of a unboxing of the Alan Holdsworth box set. Oh, and I should show you, so this is what the insides of all these... There are no other little liner note thingies in them. This has liner notes. There was a 60-page booklet that came with the box set that I am, yes, sad that I don't have, but I also have read it, so at least it's not something out there that I haven't been able to read. And some of these do come with liner notes, like this one has all that liner notes. This one's kind of generic, but whoop. I guess there's not really a ton for you to see here, but I just enjoy showing the full packaging. So this is how they would come if you were to get them. And as I said again, these are the manifesto. They will look like like that on the spine. MFO 465. I think it's 01 through 12 or something like that. I think there's 12 total. So there we go. I hope everybody's having a good year. I am starting my year off with a change that is fantastic, and I'm very excited about it, and I hope to be doing more videos because of that change, because my new shift will let me be a night owl. The only problem right now is that I kind of hurt my back, so I've had to play it a little safe. I don't want to hurt my back anymore. And this is the receipt from my Alan Holdsworth purchase. That was crazy. But I got every one of those $15 discs for $12.74, which was way cheaper than getting them on eBay or through Amazon. Thank you very much. All right, take it easy. Bye.